Hey guys, my name's Colin Wood and welcome to the WABC. This is a warning worldwide, and it's to all those guys that are doing adaptive boxing at the moment, especially promoting it in their countries, which at the moment, if I say this, you have a great risk of putting those athletes in danger and actually hurting them, even killing them. We have to have integrity of the sport, especially being brand new. And over the years of developing, we have come up with a great way the adaptive can box. The one problem that we face is in order to go to Paralympics, you need 34 countries to be on board and all have a way forward, being one rule fits all. And at the present, we're not in that. What I mean by we're not in that is that unfortunately people are getting away with having man versus women, as well as having two wheelchairs tied together, as well as having two persons holding it and pushing it in, as well as being on a platform and being static in every point, being at close range. You are at risk of being knocked out. And because it's boxing, then being punched in the head, you will actually lead up to concussion or CTE concerns. Now, boxing for WABC is about the art, and it always has, rolling with the punches. But there's so much of an art that we are not also going to put people at risk that don't need to. We're going to include them, and we'll make them feel very, very much a part of that, which is the word boxing. It's like saying you're willing to put someone who's got a head injury into the word boxing, because at the moment nobody's having medicals. There's no proper structure that these guys are obligated to, and yet WABC has opened its arms to actually get people on board, because we're talking about a new sport and an obligation that we can save life, and that means inclusion of community. Now, I don't know what people are in other countries are thinking, but as an Englishman, I'm proud that I've got the integrity, especially as a professional coach of rugby league, as well as played the game to a standard, that I also am the founder of the WABC. I'm going blind because of the sport that I played, because of that word contact. And I had a duty like anybody else has and has failed, especially with the shows that they've been laying on with adaptive boxing, that it shows that we are the most safest boxing in the world. Now we're dealing with egos, we're dealing with promoters, and we're dealing with people that think money is the obligation. It's what you do with it that counts. And that's what we've forgotten about, especially with the structures of most, especially dealing with sports. Governing bodies are meant to put the money into a central location and actually help to build or grow that sport, especially from grassroots, and include a wide spectrum. Now we get down to ability. Ability is one of the biggest key issues, and I worked with a guy who is a great, great friend of mine, Danny Higgins. He's more advanced in the word adaptive boxing, especially wheelchair boxing, because of the amount of wheelchair boxing he has done. And everything that we have done, every fighter was insured. Every adaptive boxer was insured under WABC. Now, when we were testing out everything to where we are now, and I'll get to that point because I'm going to leave information on my wall, which I hope you can understand, is the steps to bring in a safe adaptive boxing organization. And we have to lead by examples. But we'll get to that very shortly. What I wanted to talk about was ability. The ability of an adaptive person at the moment is not shown correctly. There's a lot of politics in that sports, in all sports, especially to include and then all of a sudden have certain criterias of people actually play that sport and others left out. And the reason being sometimes is that they feel that that person's going to get even more injured and they'd rather have someone who's got a greater core skill to actually play that sport. That's not the case anymore. We want to prove that the ability of a person who is classed disabled, and we class it adaptive, but that's because of the worldwide, able-bodied persons don't understand that we're all human. And so we've got to prove a point that safety had to be a priority for adaptive to box. Also having the right correct chairs, which we have. We have two of the most specialised chairs that can do the word boxing. Had to be. We all agree safety comes first. And I'm sorry if I dribble sometimes, but yeah, we're getting to the point. It's basically that the integrity of a disabled person now for WABC is to show a structure that all adaptive can box. And I'm going to cause an issue here because I really want people to stand up and have their brains ticking. And here goes. A man with head trauma can do boxing. Let's see what your views are on that one. It's going to be interesting. But I do say this now. To all promotions, to all people that are doing adaptive boxing, come and talk to the WABC. In the new year, which on the December the 16th of this year, we'll be announcing with Danny Higgins the future of what WABC is going to be unfolding in the word adaptive boxing. We've put too much time into this because there is a major risk assessment, and we all agree boxing, very dangerous. Same as rugby, contact, very dangerous. But in 2023, we'll be releasing details in the new year of where we're going to be holding the first Scotland versus England wheelchair and adaptive boxing event. Now, we've got a few other surprises because safety came first. So, able boxers, be warned, especially bare knuckle. I don't want to give too much away, but safety comes first. We all agree in contact sports of any nature. And we wanted to prove a point that certain elements of adaptive could actually be amateur or professional. So, amputees. Any amputee out there who fits the criteria can turn professional in boxing. It's been shown, 1985, Craig the Gator Bobotsky. Put that in. You want someone to innovate you to know that there is a word for boxing. It's there. The unfortunate thing is that the world of boxing won't do it because of those safety applications that they think it's going to cause more to you. So if we put major safety applications in the way, then we can prove a point. So it's basically, that's amputees. We all know that they can also fit into a wheelchair. Now, we're talking certain other disabilities, MS, cerebral palsy. They also can fit into that criteria. That's the problem. Wheelchair boxing, it can actually now bring an elite level. But this is the other understanding that paraplegics from a waist down can actually compete. Anybody above waist, we all agree that if a person cannot feel anything inside and you punch their stomach, they have a potential to actually have major injury problems. So that's paraplegics. So anybody in the wheelchair world, as long as they show their ability and pass that medical, that's you can actually do it. So we get down to blind boxing. medical, but also a person who is blind can actually box. It's the same as the head issue. I'll let you have a think on how that's going to be done. But it's a new innovation, guys, and one that brings a lot of safety also to the other guys who are adaptive and doing adaptive boxing. So let's get down to any other thing. Anybody who shows their ability, has a disability, passes the medical, can show that they can do the skills now to rolling with the punches, then don't you think it's about time that we actually listened to the disabled, not the able? This is a new innovation, a new sport. This isn't kickboxing. This isn't karate. This isn't MMA. This is the start of that future, but more will come on that. But it's basically that boxing had to start and it needed people to come on board that had a responsibility that they cared. So in 2023, we're issuing a challenge right now to all you countries out there. We're going to be putting up the GB, Scotland, Wales fighters that are going to be on board, and we're going to put those details up. And if you want to compete and be a part of something that's actually the most safest boxing for adaptive, then join the WABC. If you don't, then in 2023, you're going to see something that is out of my hands. This is the WABC, the world first adaptive boxing organisation that actually wanted you guys to listen. Be safe, respect, and roll with the punches. See you soon.